But yeah, thank you for watching. Resident Evil 7 is what is Resident Evil 7? I really don't know. Let me hold on. I'm good now. I'm good. All right. You can see the snow a little bit. It's cold as fuck outside, so I decided to play some Resident Evil. I'm just gonna put my hair down because this is like more of a relaxing time. You know, with me. You're gonna relax with me a little bit, but all right. Let's just get at it. Okay. Resident Evil 7. Is it a bad game? No, it is not. Is it a good game? Yeah. Is it an amazing game? No, not really. It's a good, scary horror game. Survival horror? Yes, you just saw me get fucked twice. Is it a good Resident Evil game? Yes. Good as in it should be a spin-off good, in my opinion. Cause there's great, from what I've heard, there's great Resident Evil spin-off games. Code Veronica, never played it, although I do have it for the Xbox, so I might play it. I don't know, record it for you guys. I have Code Veronica. I have Revelations 1 and 2. Xbox Game Pass. And then Xbox Live gave it away a year ago, I believe. So sometime last year, I think they gave it away, and like I downloaded it. What other good ones? There's not that many good Resident Evil spin-off games that are not the main numbered titles. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 0. It's also really bad Resident Evil spin-off games. Umbrella Corps, that one. I only have one cousin that's played it and that knows about it very deeply. I barely know about it, but I heard that's not a good Resident Evil game. I heard it's a bad Resident Evil game. But that's the thing, is it a bad Resident Evil 7? Is it a bad Resident Evil game? No, it's a good one, but it shouldn't be, in my opinion, a numbered Resident Evil game. It should be a spin-off Resident Evil game. It should be its own thing, how it was for the first ever arcade Resident Evil. I forgot what's it called. Dead Aim, I believe that's the name of it. That was his own thing. It wasn't in the numbered titled Resident Evil games. And I believe Resident Evil 7, how Capcom is doing it, Resident Evil 7 to 9 should be its own thing. But they want to continue with the story of Resident Evil with those mechanics in mind, and I don't blame them, because like I said earlier in the video, how I classified Resident Evil is in generations. So generation 1 is Resident Evil 1, 2, 3. 0 is also included in there. And generation 2, 4, 5, 6. Those are the action, more third person camera. That Resident Evil 4 started, and they carried on to Resident Evil 6. And third generation would be 7, 8, and 9, which I believe 9 is going to be the first person view too. And so is it a good thing? It's a bad thing. It's a good thing, because Capcom is experimenting and they're still pumping out Resident Evil content left and right, either it be a video game, movie, what have you. I think it's a good thing, because the Resident Evil franchise is still alive and kicking, which I didn't think was going to be a thing when I was little. I thought Resident Evil 2 was going to be, that's it. The city's destroyed. What else do we need to do? What else is there? And here we are, Resident Evil 8, and Resident Evil 2 remake. I didn't think I would ever see a remake in my lifetime, and because there's been talks about it, talks for fans to have a remake since PS3. The same thing with Final Fantasy VII, how they wanted a remake, and we got it now all the way to 2020. So it's been 20 plus years for these remakes to happen, because they're coming back in popularity, because players, you, me, this whole generation is wanting a remake, wanting to play these games again in higher definition, which is kind of what it's kind of like our standard now, for the games to be in the highest definition like available now, 4K wise, or to have the same gameplay and the mechanics that we know and love, and just put those mechanics with the high definition and the graphics and all this other stuff, and it doesn't play out well sometimes. So I understand the change from the RE2 classic camera to be third person view. It worked out for Resident Evil 4. Why not for the remake? And it's the same playable character too. And I feel like they did the same thing for Resident Evil 3. They're not going to stick with the classic camera, so fuck it, third person view again. And people were saying RE2 remake is way better than RE3 remake. It is, but RE3 has its fans, and I'm okay with it. Let's just go with that. I'm really okay with Resident Evil 3 remake. It's not a bad game. It's not a great game either. It's a good game. Same for me for Resident Evil 7. It's not something I go back to playing over and over again. Like Resident Evil 1 remake, I'm replaying it now for my channel, which I should get back to. And Resident Evil remake, or Resident Evil 2 remake, or Resident Evil 4, I always go back to those left and right whenever I'm bored. A fucking snowy day, I go back to playing Resident Evil. Why not? It's a game that I absolutely love. It's the same thing with Metal Gear Solid 1. I go back to playing it whenever I'm bored. I have it for the PS1 Classic, and it suffices my need to play something familiar. And they're not remaking Metal Gear Solid 1 to my knowledge, and I hope they do, because look what Capcom did, and I think that's going to be the staple of remakes. Hey, look what Capcom did with Resident Evil 1 remake for the GameCube. I bought that game for the GameCube, bought it for the Xbox 360, I bought it again for the Xbox One, and I bought it for PC. Capcom took my money 4 times, and I was happy to give it to them. Metal Gear, I'll be happy to give my money to them as soon as a remake comes out, but hopefully it's for the Xbox and not just a PS5, because I'd be fucked. And Resident Evil 4, I think I bought that GameCube, PS2, Xbox 360, Xbox One, PC. I bought that game 5 times. No problem with it at all. I'll gladly give you my money for that, for an amazing game as Resident Evil 4 is. And that's a game that people knew in that generation and time, like, all right, this is the staple of third person view, this is the staple of action games, and so on and so forth. And it carried on to Resident Evil 6. And 6 is when fans kind of butted heads, and I really don't blame them for that, because it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. I should say it was a good game. Not the best. Parts of it I did absolutely love. Leon's campaign mostly. But it's okay. Resident Evil 5 I loved. I loved the Resident Evil 5. And I think that was more of the co-op aspect that I played with my cousins and my family members. So that was really a big thing for me. And that was a thing for me to introduce a franchise I love to my cousins that never heard of Resident Evil till Resident Evil 4. And it's something that we all carried into now. We now talk about Resident Evil 5 once in a while, and hopes of playing it again. And when COVID's over, we'll play. But yeah, what else? So I feel like this is just for Resident Evil 7 to 8 and 9. It's going to be for the newer generation, for the newer fans that want to play this game, and I can't blame Capcom for it, because they're trying to get more fans to support Resident Evil, because it's not in the top 10s for most people. Resident Evil is like horror survival. It's not on my list. The Metal Gears, the Siphon Filter, like, it's not on a lot of people's list. A top 5 at least. It's not, and you can't blame them. So it's like, I feel like Resident Evil now is getting more and more popular, because shit, there's a movie, there's a TV show for Netflix coming out for it. Like, come on. Netflix was realizing, like, oh shit, Resident Evil, look at the hype, look at the fans, let's do something about it, let's do something with it. And I'm geeked for it, can't wait. I'm a hardcore Resident Evil fan since Resident Evil 2 original for the PS1. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's for the newer generation, and I'm okay with that. Hopefully Resident Evil 10 is like, you could pick the camera you want, fixed, third person or first person. That'd be cool. But I think Resident Evil 10 needs to, like, kill some characters, like, for real. Be done with Chris, be done with Claire, maybe Jill. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, because these characters have been alive for like over 20 years and they were in their 20s. They need to retire or stop. Something needs to happen. Because Chris has been in Resident Evil 1, been mentioned in 2, been mentioned in 3. It's not in 4. Played him in 5. Played him in 6. 7, we play him again. 8, he's in it. I think he's been like mentioned at the same amount of time as Wesker. Holy shit. Wesker was in 1. Wesker was mentioned in 2. 3, Wesker was hinted at. 4, Wesker was in it. 5, Wesker was in it. 6, Wesker was mentioned. 7, Wesker was definitely mentioned. And 8, maybe some more Wesker. I don't know. But yeah, this is just my rant. Don't take this to heart. Really don't. This is just me ranting as a Resident Evil fan. And there's fans that agree with me and don't agree with me. And that's perfectly fine. There's 2 fans for this whole generation, for this whole franchise. There's 2 fans of it. The fans that love that everything Resident Evil kicks out, or whatever Capcom kicks out, and fans that critique certain ones and favorites the originals. But yeah, that's just my thought on it. But damn, this video altogether is like an hour and 18 minutes, and I didn't realize that. I am so sorry. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing, liking. If you want to talk about it, go in the comments below. I'll gladly talk to you about it, or other fans. Be nice, be civil. I'm not trying to have like a whole discussion like fuck you, this and that. I don't want that. Okay, if you don't agree with me, fine, tell me why I suck ass. Tell me why I think, or why you think I'm wrong. But yeah, I'm staying with my comments. Very well, I'm gonna stick with it. But yeah, thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing. Peace.